You might want to listen to this bit, taxi drivers, because we have got a dream psychologist on the line. Good evening, Ian.
Hi, Jonathan. How are you?
I'm not too bad. Where in the world are you, Ian?
Currently, I'm in a very nice country hotel just outside Edinburgh.
Okay. So, Ian Wallace is a dreams psychologist. How do you become a dreams psychologist, Ian?
Well, my own personal route, Jonathan, was I've always been fascinated by dreams, so much so that I went to university and studied psychology and specialised in dreams and dreaming. I qualified, became a qualified psychologist and started up a private practice about 30 years ago, helping people with their dreams.
And see, some people think, and quite cynically, and I'm going to share this with you, can you really analyse dreams? Really?
Yeah, well, that's a really interesting thing. So, just from an experience, this is just my opinion, Jonathan. So I've been doing this for 30 years.
Yeah.
I've analysed over 140,000 dreams for my clients.
Wow.
A lot of my clients are well-known public figures. So I just have a whole lot of experience. And a lot of people think that dream analysis and it's quite scientific and it should be objective. But I approach it far more from the fact that dreams are like a language that we all kind of know but have sort of forgotten. So I concentrate far more on interpreting a language rather than trying to scientifically prove something, because everyone dreams, Jonathan, absolutely everyone.
Okay, Ian, if you want your dreams analysed and you are listening to us tonight, give us a call, 020-7224-2000, or you can text starting your message with the word London to 81333, all right, 81333. Don't forget to start your text with the word London, or call 020-7224-2000. Because this is another thing, all right? Some people can't remember their dreams.
Yeah, that's a very common thing, and I have to say, Jonathan, that often happens that men say, "Oh, I just don't dream. I've got no time for dreaming," and it's a key thing in being able to work with your dreams that you have to remember them. So I have a little thing that I use with my clients to remember your dreams. You just have to remember 3 words, and those 3 words are will, still, and fill. So when you lay your head on your pillow tonight, Jonathan, say, "Tonight I will remember my dreams."
I will. Yeah.
Okay. And then when you wake up in the morning, lie absolutely still for about a minute or so. Just don't move, don't wiggle your toes, don't move a muscle. And you'll start to get some dream imagery and some emotions and feelings coming back. And then once you've lain still for a minute, just start to fill in all the gaps in that imagery, and you'll start to get stories, dream stories emerging, and you can actually start to work with those.
Okay, now earlier on Twitter, and if you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at the real DJ Spoony. I'm not saying that you should do that, Ian, but just anyone else who's listening. A couple of people tweeted in. Someone said, "I've had a dream that I'm playing golf against Tiger Woods, Mark Foster, who's a golf professional, and myself, and he always wins." Now, is he just dreaming, or is that a real dream? And what does that mean?
This is quite a common dream to have. So any time that we dream about being involved in some sort of game, so winning at sport or being involved in some sort of sport, it's the 41st most common dream that people have. And anytime it's a game, there's some opportunity in waking life that this person has. And because they're playing against the best person, or used to be the best person, Tiger Woods, and someone who's really professional, this is probably about their job, about their profession in waking life, where they're really trying to be the best and they don't feel that they're living up to their full potential. But they have opportunities out there. They have the opportunity actually to hole some shots, but they just have to find out what that potential is.
I know the guy personally who sent that in, and he's got absolutely no chance. So he may as well keep dreaming. And Kezi Lou said she has this recurring dream. I've got one as well that I want to show you. Kezi Lou, she's busting for a wee. But every toilet she finds has no door on it.
Yeah, this is a really common dream that Kezi Lou's having. This is the 3rd most common dream that people have. 3rd most common dream, unable to find a toilet. So just going back to the language side of it, Jonathan, we have this phrase, needing the toilet. And any toilet dream is to do with our needs in waking life. So what people who have this dream, and what Kezzy Lou will be doing, is probably she spends a lot more time looking after the needs of other people rather than attending to her own needs. And the fact that there's no door on the toilet means that she finds it difficult to establish emotional or personal boundaries for people, and just being able to hold up her hand saying, no, I need to look after myself a bit and I can't actually deal with your needs at the moment.
I mean, now that you're here and you're speaking and explaining, it is a fascinating subject.
Oh, it's just endlessly fascinating, Jonathan.
I mean, I have one dream, all right? That,
okay.
I haven't had it for a while, but it's one dream that always makes me wake up in a cold sweat and an absolute panic, all right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's that as a radio DJ that I get a big gig to go and do a live outside broadcast, and every time I go to press a button, push a fader, to read something, to play something, to do something, it goes absolutely wrong.
Right. This is another common dream. This is the 18th most common dream that people have.
How do you know these numbers off by heart like that?
Because I had a book published by Hay House during the summer called The Top 100 Dreams. So I went through my database of this 140,000 dreams that I've analysed for my clients and chose the 100 most common dreams that people have, and then just gave general analyses of what these dreams are. So I just have a list of 100 dreams in my head. And it's just because I'm used to dealing with thousands of dreams, people have said, I have this dream about... Very often I've dealt with quite a number of musicians who say that they turn up and they can't get their amp to work, or their guitar's unplugged, or the microphones aren't working.
Yeah.
So when you dream about having this big gig, Jonathan, and you're coming out, you're getting a bit anxious about it, it's not about your performance or how you come over as a presenter or a DJ or anything like that. It's about how you receive the appreciation of the audience. So you're trying to make a connection to the audience, but what you're actually missing out on is getting that appreciation back and you actually accepting that. So this dream is all about you realising how brilliant you are and how good you are, rather than any anxiety about not being able to perform in the way you want to.
Oh, all those years I spent panicking, and that's what it is.
That's all it is, yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about your book, Ian, and I've got another text message here from a Nina.
Okay, the book's called The Top 100 Dreams, the dreams that we all have and what they really mean. And the idea behind it is that I often get people, whether it's through clients or people coming up to me at parties or when I'm doing various events and saying, I have this dream, no one else can have this dream, it's just such a strange dream. I have this dream all the time that I'm being chased.
Oh.
And it's the most common dream that everyone has.
Can I just say, Ian, my dream was always being chased by a little old lady who I couldn't get away from. And I could run quite quick when I was young, but I couldn't get away from this lady. And
did you know who the old lady was?
Go on.
No. Okay, no, I don't know who the old lady was.
I thought you was going to tell me. I was going to say that was impressive.
Yeah, no, well, I'm heading in that direction. But
faceless old lady just chasing me.
Right. Okay, so any time that we dream we're being chased, so again, just coming back to language, we have this word in our language, pursuit, and a pursuit is being chased, but a pursuit is also something that we're really fascinated by or drawn to. So you have a pursuit of just being really involved in music and want to find out more about it and be immersed in it. So anytime you're being chased, there's something that you really want to pursue in waking life, but you're finding some sort of challenge or obstacle. Anytime you dream about a person, you're almost invariably dreaming about some aspect of your own self. So this little old faceless lady, when you dream about a lady, it's usually to do with your intuition, your instinctive awareness, your creativity. And an old lady is usually about wisdom. So there's something about, at that time in your life, you're becoming more aware of your creativity and you're trying to employ it wisely. And because the old lady was faceless, you felt you didn't have that identity or that profile to do that. So what you were trying to do, your pursuit in waking life, was to use your creativity wisely, but you just weren't sure how to put a public face on that.
I'm truly blown away. That exhale was me just evaluating, and now it's that I feel I will be doing that every morning.
Yeah.
Or at night and morning, I should say.
Yeah, and that's the thing, Jonathan, because once you start getting into it, because people think that dreams happen to them, but the reverse is true. You actually create everything in the dream, so you're actually happening to the dream. So what is happening in the dream is actually you. I mean, it's the real, honest, pure you telling yourself what's going on, what you really want to do in life, how you can get there.
I do understand that, because there have been times when I have, almost Inception style, like altered the path of a dream, mid-dream, and almost been conscious and aware of it as well. Is that weird?
Yeah, that's a brilliant thing to do. Now, that's called lucid dreaming. So you become aware that you're dreaming, and you can actually start to influence and change what's happening in the dream. And that's a brilliant thing to do, because it becomes very powerful, because when you realize that you're creating everything in the dream and you can change that and influence it, that carries over into waking life. So instead of feeling that you can't change some things in your life, you actually start to realize you have the power to change things in your waking life and influence your waking life in a way that you'd like to.
Now, I mean, if you're just joining us, we're speaking to Ian Wallace, who's a dreams psychologist. He's got a book out at the moment, The 100 Most Common Dreams. Is that what it's called?
It's called The Top 100 Dreams.
Sorry, The Top 100 Dreams.
Uh-huh.
Ian, is there any dreams that we should try to avoid having, or if we have this dream, it spells bad news?
Not really. There's so much superstition and folklore around bad dreams, and if you have these nightmares, and there are all sorts of nonsensical dream dictionaries out there that, if you dream of a greenhouse in a forest, it means that when you're in the shops next week, then you'll be shortchanged or something like that. It's just
if you dream of, the common one, if you dream of death, or if you dream of blood, or if you dream of money.
Yeah, so all these things, so these are great ones, Jonathan. So if you dream of death, then again it's the language. So it's any time you dream of death, it's some sort of ending. It's not a literal death. You're not going to die. Someone close to you is not going to die. It means that there's something that you need to step out of, and you need to move on. If you dream about money, you're dreaming about your own value and your self-worth. It's a very common dream to dream of winning the lottery or finding money. And what was the other one you mentioned there? So
money, death, and blood.
So blood. And anytime you dream of blood, this is, again, it's about your creativity, who you really are, your passion. It's something we say you're really fired up and it's just flowing through your veins. So that whole thing about just being really passionate and being able to act and do something. So a lot of people think there are bad dreams, but from my perspective, there's no such thing as a bad dream. There are scary dreams when you have a nightmare and it just seems so real. But one of the best ways to learn how to dream lucidly, to learn how to influence your dreams, is actually to start it during a nightmare. So something I do with my clients who have sleep problems and who are suffering from chronic nightmares is actually use that as an opportunity to learn how to dream lucidly. Because one of the key things you can do in a nightmare, especially a chase nightmare, is to learn how to turn round in the nightmare, and whatever is chasing you or threatening you, ask it who it is and what it needs. Who it is and what it needs. And as soon as you start to do that, you realize what is influencing this dream, why you're making the dream, what's happening in your waking life, and you can start to turn the whole thing around so it becomes very, very healthy and positive.
Now, just before there's a couple of sort of dream scenarios that I want to ask you about, Ian, and just before I do that, Nina's texting, she says, can you tell me, have you got any idea what dreaming about black lions and black tigers is about? Yeah,
this is, again, it's quite a common dream. So anytime we dream about an animal, then we're dreaming about our own more instinctive self, because beneath all our humanity, we actually live in animal bodies. So it's how we want to behave instinctively or impulsively. When we dream about a cat, even a big cat like a lion or a tiger or a panther, it's to do with our sense of independence and autonomy. And dreaming about a black lion, anytime we dream about black, it's about our undiscovered potential, our own undiscovered potential. So dreaming about a black lion is having the pride and the confidence to actually go and explore our own undiscovered independent potential. Tigers are a bit fiercer. When you dream about a black tiger like Nina's doing, then she wants to be even more independent, because tigers are fiercely independent cats. So when you dream about lions, tigers or panthers, it's just about actually asserting your own independence.
The texts are coming in thick and fast now. Anne says, about dreams, I've dreamt of all of my nieces and nephews before they were conceived. In the dreams, I'm carrying them or holding the babies. About a month after each dream, I usually get a call or am told a relative is expecting. And when the baby is born, it looks just like the one I saw in the dream. This has happened 4 times now. Yeah, that's fantastic from Anne there. So a lot of people talk about predictive dreams, or as we call them, precognitive dreams. And there are varieties of opinions. Scientifically, it doesn't seem to make sense. But from my experience and from other people who work with dreams do have a predictive ability. And the reason for that is the dream is the language of our, what I call our unconscious awareness. So we have a conscious part to our behaviour. So as we are chatting just now, Jonathan, and as the listeners are listening, we're consciously aware of stuff. Yeah. But behind all that, then we're unconsciously aware of a whole lot of stuff that's going on, and we absorb it during the day, and then we process it in our dreams. So because we're absorbing things unconsciously, then we start to predict what's happening. So it's like watching a football or a frisbee coming towards you. You can actually predict the trajectory as it heads towards you. And our dreams do the same. So Anne will be picking up on signals from these people, or she'll be having some awareness of how the mothers to be are. And then when the nieces and nephews are born, then she'll have a pretty good idea of what they're looking like. So what Anne's doing is picking up on these unconscious signals and actually expressing them in her dream life. I mean, I will be going to my local bookstore tomorrow, the top 100 dreams. I mean, it is really, really interesting stuff. And what I found the most interesting here is how we would try and analyse them ourselves, but totally miss the point that, you know, running doesn't mean the old lady's going to catch you. It means it's yourself, or me. The example of myself messing up the equipment and the DJing and trying. I can't speak and I cannot read and I can't get that right. And I'm having this actual nightmare, and it means something completely different to what I thought it did. Yeah, and that's the thing, Jonathan. It's very easy to take a dream literally. So you dream that your teeth are going to fall out, you better get to the dentist. But the actual thing, you just have to think, it's a different language. It speaks in images and idioms and metaphors. And we're all familiar with that language, because one of the fundamental dream symbols is water. And water always reflects emotions and feelings in waking life. But we hear this in our language all the time. So you can hear someone saying they're pouring their heart out, or a bit of a low ebb, or they can feel it in their water. So that dream language is around us all the time in the language we use in everyday life. So, and that's one of the things that you just touched on there was teeth falling out. Because what does it mean if your teeth fall out, or you break a leg or an arm in a dream? Okay, so teeth falling out is the second most common dream that people have. And we just think in terms of language and what do our teeth represent, and we tend to show our teeth in public on 2 main occasions. One is when we're smiling, and the other time is when we're kind of snarling a bit. So we're either happy and confident, or we're asserting our power. So teeth tend to represent confidence and power. And when we dream that our teeth are falling out, then there's something in waking life that's making our level of confidence fall. And people often have a dream that their teeth are crumbling because their confidence is crumbling, or they dream that their molars are falling out because they need to chew something over to get a bit more confident. So it's all about confidence and power. And the message from those dreams is just to be a bit more confident in waking life, even though you feel a wee bit wobbly inside. So if you're just joining us, I want you to once again recap for those people that have difficulties recapping and remembering their dreams. Ian, anyone that's just joined us, tell us exactly once again how you do that. Okay, to remember your dreams, all you have to remember are 3 words, which are will, still, and fill. Yep. So tonight when you lay your head on your pillow, you say,
tonight I will remember my dreams. And just setting that intention really helps. And then when you wake up in the morning, lie completely still for a minute. Don't wiggle your toes, don't move your arms, don't look at the time, just lie completely still, and you'll find dream imagery coming back to you, re-emerging. You'll start to get some feelings and emotions coming back. And then as you do that, then start to fill in the gaps between these images, and you'll get some dream stories emerging.
Ian, thank you very much for your time this evening. Fascinating, and I've got to be honest with you, it's something that I've kind of touched on, and sometimes I remember them and sometimes I don't, but I definitely will always remember try and remember, at least like now I know what I've got to do. I feel. Yeah,
that's absolutely right, Jonathan. That's all you have to do, and then you'll just find this really rich seam of self-expression coming to you.
Before I let you go, can I ask you, what is your most memorable dream or nightmare?
Well, even the scary nightmares I have now, I just try and dream lucidly through them. And I have all the same sort of dreams. I get chased, my teeth fall out, can't find the toilet. But the most memorable dream that I have, I mentioned at the start of my book, it's my earliest memory, and I think it was about 2 years old. And I dreamt that I was standing on a bridge, and this huge steam train was hurtling towards me underneath the bridge, and I was covered in clouds of steam. And I was so upset, I woke up screaming, and my dad came through to see that it was okay. But the wonderful thing that he did the next day was he took me down to a bridge over the railway and waited for a train to come along so I could see this dream occurring in reality.
Absolutely brilliant. Ian Wallace, dream psychologist, thank you very much for joining me on the Rum Shop tonight.
Thank you, Jonathan. It's been a real pleasure. Thanks.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Bye.
Absolutely fascinating.